All right, we're back. Just a Cup, world's greatest team. Brian Fetzer here, be playing host to Diljeet Taylor, who is the Associate Director of Cross Country and Track and Field at BYU, Brigham Young University. And she's going to be joining us. We had some technical difficulties, so we jumped off. We're jumping back on. No problem whatsoever. Diljeet was the director at Cal State Stanislaus before BYU, and was a post-collegiate professional runner before, worked with GAGs in the Bay Area, and very excited to have her on. And let's go with number 2, Diljeet. We're working now. That's better?
Okay, I'm just changing in all places of my house. It's so weird. Sometimes the connection's great, and then other times it's spotty.
Hey, that is part of it. So you got a little cup?
Got the cup.
I like that. Was that a gift from a coach or from an athlete?
This was from my boys, I think. They bought it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us. It's been fun getting a chance to reconnect with some coaching friends, but then at the same time, kind of get your wisdom, your insight along the way with stuff.
Yeah.
And you are always a ball of energy, so I love it.
I know. And so can you imagine what I'm feeling right now with not being able to just, the new normal looks a little bit different. So it's definitely just been an adjustment.
Oh, mate. So Sasha just logged on, and obviously, Sasha as well.
Yeah, I love Sasha.
Sasha's amazing. She said if she didn't get a shout out, she's logging off. So I had to give her a quick shout out.
Oh, yeah, no. Love Sasha. Miss Sasha.
Well, hey, so speaking of the new norm, I know you have 2 young ones, but what has become the new norm in your world as a college coach and a mother in this crazy time?
I mean, I think obviously the first couple of weeks I think all of us were in complete shock, my kids included, because their entire normalcy also changed.
Right.
But a little bit of just processing what just happened, I think the first couple of weeks, and now I've accepted it. I'm like, okay, this is our new normal, so we're going to make it great. Lots of Zoom calls, a lot of, I do these workouts a couple times a week via Zoom with just my normal mom's club that I have. A lot of time at home trying to cook some amazing meals, doing some hikes, but really just valuing spending time with my boys. I mean, this is the time of year where I'm home the least. And
Right.
So just really taking this time to create some special memories with these guys that we'll remember, but also trying to keep my team motivated and trying to keep that bond strong. I think the hardest part of this for me, and I'm just going to vocalize it, is I really miss my women a lot. And that's hard. So just trying one day at a time.
It's amazing. Literally what you just said about spending time with your family that's not normal, missing the athletes, is literally the sentiment for every coach, which speaks volumes of you as coaches, and that's kind of why you do it. Excuse me, wrong pipe. Excuse me about that. What has been one of the challenges of that your personal kids have felt with mom now being around all the time?
Okay, they love it.
That's awesome.
They love it, yeah. And it's been really good for us. They are both mama's boys big time. And so the opportunity to have me home all the time and not be living out of a suitcase right now, I think they're enjoying it. And it's making it easier for them to not miss their friends because they get mom. But mom is going to be running out of things to keep them entertained with pretty soon. We've done lots of fun things, and I feel like we're in summer mode a little bit in April, and so I'm not sure what July and August are going to look like.
What is one of those things you guys have been doing? What's maybe some suggestion to some other coaches out there?
Oh, well, we have started Bananagrams. That's a really fun game. I don't know if anybody plays that, but we've done 5 puzzles, which I'm terrible at puzzles. So when I say we, I mostly mean my oldest son and my husband. But there's a couple elements to it, right? Like one of it is you're home with your kids all the time. And then the other part is you and your spouse are both working from home. And that is just a lot of people in one home trying to accomplish all these different things. And our kids are doing school remotely, so they're also trying to do that. We went on some hikes. That's really fun. Some bike rides. Spike ball is a good one. Our weather hasn't been great here. I think it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So I'm excited for the weather to get better so we can do some more outdoors things. I've taken up golf. So we went to the driving range a couple times and hit some balls. We played 9 holes a couple weeks ago. So yeah, just trying to really be active and also just make memories. We started reading The Diary of Anne Frank. So I've been reading that to them, and talk about perspective. That family, a family of 7, lived in a 465 square foot attic for 2 years. And so it just kind of makes us look at our situation and appreciate for what it is with how we're still able to live. Obviously it is hard, and I'm not going to discount that. I am a high ball of energy, and I miss the other day, last week, I walked around the house just holding my stopwatches because I miss being on the track. I miss my athletes. I miss the motivation I get from watching them chase their dreams. And so I'm super excited for fall to resume so that we can get back to doing what we love.
Well, you mentioned, you and your husband both obviously working from home right now and doing that. Has there any been kind of like, obviously with kids, it can be, I guess not, the alone time might not be that, but have you guys got to watch or binge watch some TV shows or?
Yeah, so we're binge watching Scandal right now. We never watched that. And what's great about it is there's 7 seasons. And so, when you binge watch a show, and if there's only a couple seasons, you get through it pretty fast. But we're on season 3 right now. And yeah, that's been fun to do. And I know some people are going crazy with Tiger King. We'll probably watch that one. I don't know what that's about, but
train wreck.
But yeah,
it's a train wreck.
That's
all the best. It's a train wreck.
In all honesty, I have not slept this many hours this peacefully since before my 11-year-old was born. And so I am getting a lot of sleep, which is amazing. And also just exercising a lot. I bought a Peloton 4 weeks ago. As soon as I knew the gyms were closing, I got a Peloton. So I started riding.
Smart move.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about the class that you do, or the Zoom you do with other mothers. Where could if I'm a mother, which I'm not, but if
it's not just for moms, we call it Moms Club, but we have men on there too.
How can they join that? How can they see that?
Well, it's on my Instagram, and I can send you the code and the password to get on, but it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and anyone can join. I used to do it at BYU in the mornings, and now since we're not able to meet on campus anymore, I just do it virtually. And actually we're getting a lot more people. I have someone in the Czech Republic that joins. It's at 4:00 their time. Yeah, she's a former athlete. And some of my former athletes from California, Florida, Arizona. Yeah, we got people from all over. So it's fun.
That's awesome. You also mentioned cooking, and Joy, I love cooking. I love cooking every night. Is there a favorite meal that you've been able to cook? Because I know when I was coaching, it was very spotty making dinner. Breakfast is about the only thing I could make.
Well, I also think that when we're on the road as much as we are, we're subject to whatever restaurants or eating whatever we can get to. And so your nutrition just looks a little differently when you're traveling versus being home. I'm able to actually prepare meals and get lots of greens in and do, lots of fruit. And so I feel a lot better about what my family is consuming right now, a lot of home cooked meals. We're still trying to support the economy. So we started out the first couple of weeks of we're not eating out. And they were like, wait, what about In-N-Out? Like, can we get In-N-Out? So we're still eating out a couple times a week, but I am able to make and I haven't, obviously, I try to sweet potato asparagus curry a couple of weeks ago. They got the big thumbs down.
Oh,
So, you know, you're dealing with 8 and 11-year-olds. Their palate is a little bit different than
what
adults, but
what's their favorite meal?
oh, they would be happy with mac and cheese. And the other day I was so frustrated. They had grilled cheese sandwiches and French fries, and I'm like, and they were happy. But yeah, no, just experimenting with some different things, different kinds of pasta. We had a big Sunday Easter dinner. I try to keep those traditions still the same. We got dressed up and we had Sunday
Oh,
dinner and
that's awesome.
cooked a ham and lots of sides. And so, yeah.
Okay, when you say get dressed up and things, so I think one of the unique things that you do at BYU with your team is the meals, and you, I mean, you go all out with name tags on things, and just, I mean, seeing some of the pictures, I think it's amazing. If you could share a little bit about that with other coaches, because I was blown away by it.
Yeah, I think more than just their experiences with racing and meets, I like them to really have a good experience with just being here and being athletes at BYU and making it special to BYU. And so I just love to host. I love entertaining. And so I think when I get the chance to do these team dinners and put the BYU touch on it or the Taylor touch,
Right.
I just like to make it really special for them and put their pictures up, and everybody likes to feel valued and appreciated. And so I think when they come into a meal like this, especially before leaving for a big championship meet, it kind of puts you in that mode like, oh, I'm valued, I'm empowered, I feel special, I want to perform really well. So just it's a motivation, another motivational piece.
Sure. So, I mean, you said the uniqueness of BYU, which BYU is definitely a unique school. What is something that sets BYU apart that you think is just unique from others?
So one of my concerns when I was going to come to BYU was that being at a small Division II school, I've noticed some of my former athletes from Stanislaus are on here, is that it was a family. And I was really nervous to miss that sense of community and family coming to a bigger Division I school. And
Right.
BYU, I consider it like a P5. I feel like it's a big
Oh,
school.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
we're really successful in a lot of different sports. But I think coming here and realizing it is just the same and the family atmosphere, and we've really built a sisterhood here. So I feel the athletic department is very tight knit. I'm friends with mostly all of the head coaches. Our ADs are accessible to us at all times, showing up at our doorstep with warm cookies. You know, a
That's
couple weeks ago, it's like, where are other ADs doing that? And so that's what makes BYU unique is it's a family. And I wasn't sure that it was going to be like that. It was one of the things that I was a little apprehensive about coming in, but it does still have that small town feel with big town dreams. So I love it.
awesome. That's awesome. And as a female coach, and I don't think, I personally don't think there's enough females that are in coaching in sport right now. But, for you being, one of the more high profile female coaches in the country, what advice would you give to younger coaches that might want to get in and kind of, because you're, and say your trajectory in the coaching world isn't normal. I mean,
I've been very lucky.
but I mean, you were at small school and then to BYU, which again, I mean, BYU's no different than any other Power Five schools or Tiny Five, whatever you want to call it. But what advice would you give to a young coach out there that might say, hey, like, this is important, I want to do this?
I think it's important to remember, and I mentioned this at one of the things that I spoke at for women, is you're not going to immediately get to that big time school. Like, you have to pay your dues, and there's no elevator to success. You've got to grind out the stairs one step at a time. And I grinded the stairs. Division II at Stanislaus, what that was like, how hard that was, I didn't even realize as I was in it, because I loved what I was doing, right? So your passion has to burn bright. If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And even though Stanislaus
Sure.
was super hard and I had to wear so many hats, I think it really prepared me to enjoy the journey that I'm on now and be grateful for what I have here at BYU, but I wouldn't be here at BYU without Stanislaus. So I'm really grateful for my experience there and the relationships that I developed. So I think it's important as women get into this profession, if they want to make it, you got to be in it for the long haul. You got to look at the big picture and realize that, yeah, you're going to have to grind out the stairs one step at a time, but eventually you're going to get to the top if you're really persistent. And I think one of the things that I've been is wherever I've been or whatever I've done, I've tried to do the best I can with what I've been given. And we did that at Stanislaus. We were a middle distance powerhouse. We had a ton of All-Americans. We were doing great things at Stanislaus and with very limited resources. And then to come to BYU with all the resources in the world and all the talent we're able to get here, it's like, yeah, I expect us to do great things and huge things because we have the resources to do that. So I think it's important to do the best you can with what you've got and never make excuses for not having what someone else has. I never looked at Stanislaus, and when I was there, I never looked at other D2s and thought, well, Grand Valley has this many scholarships. Like, I want to beat you. I want to beat you. And so, so I'm going to prepare my athletes to want to beat you. And I think if you don't make excuses as a coach, then your athletes won't. And I've kept that same mindset here at BYU.
I love it. I love it. You said you wore a bunch of different hats at Stanislaus. And next week we have, we're going to have on Justin Up, we're going to have throws week. We have throws coaches and throwers on only. Javelin at Stanislaus. You had a couple of good javelin throwers at Stanislaus.
Yeah, Channing. Yeah, we actually, our throwers, Coach Vieira, Ryan Vieira, did an amazing job with our throwers. I love that man. He's one of the best throws coaches in the country. I think we had success consistently every year. We would joke at NCAA, like, well, how many All-Americans are you going to get? Oh, you got 6? Okay, I'm going to try to get 7. But just really feeding off each other's success. And so, yeah, we had Channing Wilson was an Olympic trials qualifier in the jav. And when you have a small school that is showing up at Olympic trials and showing up at big D1 meets and making a name for themselves, I think it speaks volume to those athletes and how committed and dedicated they were to be the best.
So, I mean, being a director and essentially, you know, the same thing now at BYU, how do you, or advice or what, you know, having a throws coach or giving love to a different event group than what you actually personally coach? I think some coaches struggle with that just because the sport of track and field and cross country is so unique because it's so many different sports all wrapped in one. What advice or what kind of thoughts would you give, you know, to assistant coaches that maybe want to aspire to be a head coach or a director, or for head coaches, how to better, you know, work with their assistant coaches?
I think when we have our own domain in track and field, sometimes we want to work so hard to make that niche so good. And that in a lot of programs, that's the best thing you can do for that program is work really hard with the athletes that you have, because that's going to help elevate your entire team. But I think it's also important to celebrate others' successes. And so if you're the throws coach and you see that, you know, the jumpers are having a ton of success, be excited for that so that your athletes are excited for that and really help to build that team dynamic. I think the hardest part about our sport, and it was easier for me to do at Cal State Stanislaus because we had a smaller team and the numbers weren't as big as what they are now. Even at BYU, it's tough. I try to reach out to all the coaches, even in this crazy time right now. I'm keeping that relationship strong by talking to them, FaceTiming them, calling them weekly, like, how are you doing? Dropping things off on their doorsteps, you know, just trying to keep that relationship strong. And I think if you do that, your team is a reflection of your coaching staff. So if your coaching staff is united and excited, your team will be united and excited. And I think it's important as an assistant coach, especially when we're often just so focused on building up our own group and trying to make them the best that they can be, that we forget to think outside the box and really support some of the other event areas. But you're going to need to do that when you're moving into a head coach role or a director role. You're going to need to you're holding the umbrella for all of these groups. And so you're going to need to give love and spread that love. And I think if you start doing that as an assistant coach, it'll come natural to you. At Stanislaus, I was doing it for all the event areas. And so it was easy when I came to BYU, even though I just started as the women's distance coach, for me to be involved and excited about what our other coaches were doing. But yeah, your athletes are a reflection of your coaching staff. If your coaching staff is united and excited, your team will be that same way.
So we talked about specific women coaches. Is there any suggestions or learning opportunities that are out there for younger female coaches to get involved or just grow as a coach? What are some suggestions?
Well, and I think because the dynamic has looked so different, the demographics have looked so different for women with just, we are underrepresented. We are. The
Sure.
numbers don't lie. And so we need to do a better job. And we're brainstorming. I'm actually doing a Zoom call next week with Rhonda Riley, who's working with Sam Seams and with the convention to try to figure out what we can do to get more women involved. And the thing is, the women have to be involved and they have to be dedicated and they got to be in it for the big picture. Oftentimes what happens, it's really hard to be a mom and a coach. And I think there weren't very many of them. Even when I was doing it, there were many mentors that I had or role models that were both, that were actually had a family and were coaching. And so we just you gotta see her to be her. So I'm doing my part by being visible and saying like, hey guys, you can do this. You can coach and be a mom. It's going to be hard and there's no such thing as balance. It's all about compromise, but you can do it. So I hope others, just by seeing me, that it motivates them to believe that they can do it as well. So we just have to put more women out there and more good women that are successful.
Absolutely. So, who are some of your mentors growing up in the coaching business that you kind of looked up to, or still look up to?
Well, when I was running for the Nike Farm team at Stanford, Dina Evans was there. So that was someone that I had a female coach, Kim Deist, in college, who had kids. So it was not a foreign idea for me to take this path. And I think that's really important. Kathleen Rasky at Sacramento State was a director, and that was someone that I looked up to, as I was the first female Division II director of track and field and cross country at Stanislaus. And so I think those were women. That Beth Sullivan, just women care, you have so many that have done some great things. And now I have a circle of friends that I keep close to me, that are in the industry and that are empowering me, and we empower each other, and we're trying to build it so more women will see that this is a path that they can take. But again, it's going to take women that aren't in the shadows. You have to be successful. If you're successful, you won't be in the shadows and other people can see you. And you know me, I'm definitely seen and heard wherever I go.
So you just mentioned seen. You definitely have a unique fashion sense about you, at track meets and stuff. Because it's not normal. It's not the sweatpants and, sweats kind of. Oh,
you're so funny. Yeah, I think when I first started coaching, I was younger. And so I did do the polo, right? Because you don't want to be mistaken as an athlete. And no, now I wish I would be mistaken as an athlete, but I don't know. I just like to live it up a little bit. And I like fashion. I like nice things. And so, you just got to bring in some Gucci belts sometimes and just some heels. And yeah, it was funny at indoor this last year, or in January, for one of the races. I think the second day I just wore some Air Force Ones with some jeans, and the officials were giving me a hard time because they were asking me where my boots were. They're like, hey, where are those boots? And so now it's expected. I have to represent.
Well, and I think, that look, sometimes with recruits, recruits get accustomed and they see something and they see, you and how you are. And I think a lot of the times the way you dress, it's a reflection of your personality and such. How do you see recruiting being different now or going forward, I say, than it currently is,
I think right now, there's a lot more things that we can't do than we can do. And so you have to get creative. I just did a home visit virtually on Zoom. And it's hard. I think recruiting is definitely harder right now but I think we can take this time to make calls and check in on people and send text messages. Where normally at this point of the season, we're a month out from regionals almost, and we're traveling a ton. And so a lot of times recruiting kind of gets set a little bit on the back burner because we are focused on our current team. Sure. And I think right now we can look at it a little bit differently. We can make some calls, and we can give some attention to recruits that are also just sitting at home, maybe do some virtual stuff. We can't bring anyone in for visits, so we got to show them videos or FaceTime our campus, and you just got to think outside the box. And it's Sure. temporary, but it's definitely unique times. I like going and recruiting at meets and doing home visits, so I'm grateful that we'll be able to resume that in the fall. But right now it's all via Zoom and FaceTime.
If you're looking for the ideal recruit, not time wise, not skill set wise, that part, what is the kind of kid, student athlete that fits BYU and specifically Coach Taylor?
Okay, so to be tailor-made, okay, that's tailor-made. Like that. To be tailor-made, you have to have a lot of passion, and you got to have big dreams. And that's it. It takes two things, passion and dreams. And I think, because I'm very passion driven, and so when I get athletes that also are passion driven, I think it's just a match made in heaven. And BYU is a unique place, right? We have some standards and an honor code that you have to live by. So if you're someone that's going to look for the party life, this isn't the place for you. And I'm the first person to say that this isn't going to be a fit. But if you're someone that's going to dedicate 100% to your craft, to becoming the best you can be, and not just in running, but really becoming the best version of yourself, I think our women, who they become, I just read an article today about the 5 that didn't get to compete at NCAAs, and the way they speak and who they've become, that's what being at BYU is about. I'm looking for recruits that want to become that kind of woman. And becoming in the process of becoming that kind of woman, you're going to collect some All-American honors. You're going to be chasing some national championships, but you're also going to develop and become an empowered woman. I like getting little girls with dreams and watching them become women with vision. That to me is the best part of coaching.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm so lucky that I get to do it through coaching.
Sure.
I've got a unique opportunity here.
So we'll end on this and let you get back to taking care of the folks. But so a book or something, an article or something like that you would give some advice to somebody to read, or maybe something that you're reading right now that's serving for some motivation.
Yeah, I'm kind of reading a lot of fluff right now, just to get through this time. But there's a couple leadership books that are on my Amazon to order list. I think one of the things that we just read for a couple years ago, and I'm going to revisit, is the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and that's more for our staff. But I think it helps with coaching too. It's a good one. And I think. Yeah, I don't have anything that's like on the top of my head. I've been reading these quotes a lot. I've been reading scriptures, which is also good. It's a great thing. But I've got like an attitude and courage book that I've been reading that just has some daily inspiration. So I start my day with that, where I just read a quote. I've been writing a couple things every day that I'm grateful for. So I'm trying to start my days with all the things that I get to do, and focusing on those rather than all the things that I can't do.
That is a great word of advice to kind of end things on. Diljeet, I appreciate it immensely. This was Just the Cup, Coach Fetz, Diljeet Taylor, BYU.
Yay! Thanks for having me. This is great.
Absolutely. And hopefully, if it's the first time joining us, we hit this up at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. We're having a coach on, Coach Mack from Wisconsin. She's going to be on tomorrow.
Oh,
so
nice.
That'll be a fun one.